Hello, Flames fans, and welcome back to Locked On Flames. And thanks for making Locked On Flames your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Jess Belmosto, joined by JJ, the ultimate stats man, and we're here to talk all things Flames in just a minute. Oh my God.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right. How are you doing, JJ?
I'm doing good. That was a fantastic intro. The Locked On family's got some good things going here. It's all fancy. The production's like
Yeah, I don't know how they do it because I can barely turn on a computer. So whenever they're like, "Hey, here's this file for you to upload and use in your show," I'm like, "Okay,
yeah.
someone else is gonna have to show me first." But
Yeah.
no, it's pretty sick. We started putting shows on YouTube now. It's kind of fun. It's
Yeah.
but it's opening week. The Flames haven't played a single game.
Nope. No, but it's been good. Like I've been into hockey. That's all I've done for the past 3 days. Like
Oh,
I've
yeah,
watched
it's so nice to have it back and
so nice.
in full capacity of, fans, the production, with the broadcast teams. It's nice. I can't complain about really anything, which is
Yeah.
surprising. Well, just the fact that the Flames haven't played yet, but
Yeah. But I mean, it saves our disappointment, so there's
that's
that.
a really good point. We can just put it off.
No. All kidding aside, though, it's been great. Like I'm just watching the Seattle Kraken game right now, and they had such a great game versus
Yeah.
Vegas on Wednesday. I watched the crap out of that. So
Yep.
NHL's back.
Have
Loving it.
they surprised you? I know it's only been 2 games, but have they kind of come out as a force to be reckoned with?
Yeah, I mean, I was decently high on the Kraken.
Mhm.
I mean, I would have done some things differently myself in the expansion draft and other things, like not drafting Curtis McDermott and John Quenneville and all these all these guys, but their defense core is so solid, and their
Yeah.
goaltending is great. Their forward group is obviously where the concern is with people, but I like Jared McCann. Jordan Eberle's looked good. They have, it'll be a group effort on the forwards, so I'm excited, and I love their jerseys. Like, I could just stare at them all day,
That's the
so
selling point with this
yeah,
team.
yeah,
They could be horrendous, but I would still wear that jersey with pride. I'd be
yeah.
like, "This is the best jersey in the league." So,
Absolutely. And I mean,
uh,
shout
how do
outs
you
to shout
oh, you
outs to
go.
Mark Giordano,
Yeah.
who is now the Seattle Kraken captain, which is unreal, and I'm so
I
happy for him.
I'm so happy for him, and I feel like he's going to do amazing things as a leader,
Absolutely.
and I talked about it earlier in the week on the show, but how Lucic said that he's the most vocal captain that he's played for
Yeah.
in the locker room. So, I I don't think that that's a bad thing, especially with, I don't wanna call them misfits because
Mhm.
that's mean, but just a bunch of outliers on the teams that have now come together and they're ready to prove everyone wrong. I love me a good underdog, scrappy player
Yep.
story, so
Yeah, it's very similar to the Golden Misfits is exactly what the Vegas Golden Knights they embraced the crap out of that. Like,
yeah.
that was their in the locker room, that was their slogan, like, myself included, I love rooting for the underdog. I've done it with Calgary for 15
It just
years.
hasn't paid off, it's fine.
No,
It will eventually.
it will one day, maybe.
Maybe. I just this Calgary team, I I really didn't know what I was getting into when I started covering them. I thought that they
right?
were definitely, like, a little bit better than what they
Yeah.
are, but how do you think that this team stacks up?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question because going back to last year, the expectations were high. Personally,
Mhm.
I had them second in the Canadian division.
Yep.
Most people had them as a playoff team, right? And they shit the bed, to put it nicely. So it's a hard question because there's so many questions with the Calgary Flames this
Mhm.
year. Specifically on defense, I think is where a lot of questions are, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But
Yeah, do you wanna tell us why there are so many questions?
sure, I'd love to. So, I mean, they made some interesting interesting additions,
Yeah.
let's say, which we knew there was going to be some new defensemen coming in because Mark Giordano was taken in the expansion draft. So I threw out, Jake McCabe's name as someone who the
Mhm.
Flames might be able to target. I was talking about that for like 3 weeks straight. I was throwing his analytical charts on Twitter. I was like, go after this guy.
Just,
And
like,
then,
you were throwing it and you were hoping that Brad Treliving's burner would see it and be like,
yeah,
"That's the guy."
exactly. And
No.
then they decided that I don't want to call him their Giordano replacement, but let's call it the defense replacement. Is that a nice thing? But Nikita Zadorov, and I'm just pulling up his numbers now. He did not he did not have a good preseason. And I was skeptical about that move because offensively he's a black hole. He brings nothing.
Mhm.
Defensively though, in Chicago, he actually had decent metrics. So, I was thinking, okay, this might not be terrible, but
Could be something there.
in the preseason so far, when he's been on the ice, opponents have outchanced the Flames 75 to 59, and his expected goals is only 40.79%, which is quite low. His high danger chance for is only 34%. So like I could keep throwing numbers at you, but basically from what my eye test and all these metrics are telling me is he hasn't fit in with Calgary. And it's preseason, things couldn't change. But they tried him with Rasmus Anderson. It didn't work. They tried him, I don't even remember. Like, I think they tried him with everybody. Chris Tanev,
Yeah.
Erica Branson, I believe, at one point. Like, they tried him with everyone. And he did not have a good game. And he kept taking cross checking penalties. And
And they're
frustrating.
cracking down on those a lot this
Yeah.
season,
Yeah.
or so they've said they will.
Yeah.
Um, oh, why? That's just I feel like that's just the question with the Flames off-season acquisitions, really,
Yeah.
minus Blake Coleman, maybe,
Pretty much. Yeah.
because I don't understand any of it. I don't understand why they couldn't get a Johnny extension done, and we can obviously dive more into the nitty-gritty in just a minute, but this this team, did they get any better?
Ooh, did they get better? At forward, they got better.
Mhm.
Blake Coleman, analytically, eye test, anything. Blake Coleman is a very good hockey player. Is he a first liner like they've been playing him? Maybe
No.
not. Is he a second liner though? Yes. So if they play him in that role and he's paid like a second liner, so if they like that's a big addition to the top six
Mhm.
if it works. So at forward, I'm happy. On defense, I'm not as happy.
Just throw it all away.
Exactly. And I I mean, goaltending, we have a prime bounce back candidate in Jacob Markstrom,
Mm-hmm.
who will be better under a Daryl Sutter system. That's a given because he had a horrendous season last year. Part of that due to injury, etc.,
Not
etc. But
having a good backup where
no.
no.
And speaking of backup, Dan Vladar had a very good preseason. So did the Flames get better in some positions? Yes. In other positions, no.
I would give them like a 75%.
Yeah.
So like a C+. But again, that means nothing. They could go out and bomb this season. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll look at some more numbers coming up next. But first, let's take a quick break to talk about good snacks. JJ, do you like snacks?
I love snacks.
You,
I absolutely love snacks.
and before we were recording, you were working out. So you obviously love a good healthy snack.
I literally just ate a protein bar and a granola bar right before the recording.
Wow.
I'm a big snack guy. Yeah.
Well, let me introduce you to Built Bar. Built Bars are a delicious protein bar that are high in fiber, high in protein, low in sugars, and they're not like other protein bars because they are covered in 100% chocolate that and they're actually kind of good for you. They don't taste like a typical sandy, grainy protein bar. They are comparable to a candy bar. So head on over to built.com today and get your Built bars for 15% off with promo code LOCKED15. Okay. So, yeah, I do love a good snack though. What's your favorite snack to eat while watching hockey?
Oh, favorite snack. I mean, unhealthy wise,
Yeah, like if
like
you're gonna pig out.
yeah, like anything chocolate. Like my favorite chocolate bar is Kit Kat. I could eat like
Thank
40 of
you.
those.
Kit Kats are delicious,
So good.
hands
And
down.
like potato chips, dill pickle potato chips. I
I
could eat those up.
I just had those with my dinner.
No way.
That's so funny. Yep.
There you go.
Oh my god. I feel like we're gonna need a lot of snacks during this flame season because we're gonna need something to just support us
Yeah.
and probably keep our mouths shut.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like just to yell and swear at my TV during games. Um,
Why
which
not?
which player do you have as like the biggest bounce back candidate of the year?
For the Flames or
Yeah,
what?
for the
For
Flames.
Flames? Bounce back. I mean, the obvious choice would be Sean Monahan
Mhm.
because the past it's not even a surprise to anybody by me saying this, right? Like the past 2 seasons for him have been abysmal.
Yeah.
Like watching him try to shoot the puck and he was playing through an injury, right? You can't blame him
Yeah.
100%, but like watching him try to shoot the puck last year was the most painful thing probably I've ever had to watch hockey-wise. So he
Yeah, I
would
felt
be
really bad.
yeah, he would be probably the prime bounce back candidate for me. Just trying to think here. Another bounce back would 100% just popped into my brain. Rasmus Anderson.
Yes.
And I'm gonna pull up some numbers for this one,
Please do.
but
Give the
like,
people what they want. They love their numbers and their charts.
and I love my numbers too. So it fits. It fits. So like on it from an on ice perspective, it was a tough year. From the numbers perspective, it was a tough year. Like he needs a big bounce back. And I'm sorry, I'm just getting the numbers here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so when he was on the ice, actually, the Flames outchanced opponents 845 to 843, so that's good. But his expected goals was only 47.04%, which is quite low for an offensive defenseman. His high danger chance for was only 46.93%. So opponents would outchance the Flames a lot more with him on the ice, which obviously
You don't
is
want to see that.
and I'm just going to pull up his WAR percentage here quickly, which I know was not very good.
And I
And for
think that
those that
people need to embrace these numbers because they do mean something. They're not just there.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that only have an opinion based on analytics. There's some people that say blah, blah, boots on the ground scouting at Pierre
Yeah.
Maguire. And you need that nice combination, right? Like for me personally, what I do is I watch a period of hockey and then I look at the numbers and say, does it match up with my eye test, right?
Yeah.
And for the most part, it does, which tells me that these numbers are accurate, right? And I love analytics because sometimes you can't judge a player on their defensive impact, right? Like,
Right.
for example, Michael Backlund, he might
Oh,
only score 30 points in a season, and you might say, like, this guy sucks. He needs to score more points. But, if you look at, and I don't know his analytics offhand, I could look at that after, but if you look at his defensive impacts, you might say, hey, this guy's doing a lot more than just scoring goals, right? So,
yeah. He's there.
yeah. And another thing I love is I love watching hockey, but I can only watch one game when there's 20 games on, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm watching that one game and I'm watching the puck, I'm only seeing, 3 players and there's 10 on the ice, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to embrace the numbers. And
Most definitely.
I pulled up Rasmus Anderson's WAR percentage, which is wins above replacement for those who don't know, and it's a little complicated. I won't lie, it's a little complicated. It's a bunch of different things such as offense, defense, ability to finish the puck, power play, goals per 60, quality of teammates, quality of competition. It's all nicely put together in a percentage, and that's how you can, make, figure out
Yeah,
how a
I
player
don't.
is.
That's one I don't understand because it's
Yeah.
just so much rolled into one.
It's a lot, but Rasmus Anderson had only a 22% last year, which was a massive drop because
That's bright red. If you're watching on YouTube, it's the bright
yeah,
red.
yeah, and that's a huge downgrade from last year because in 2019, 2020, his WAR was like 77%. So he was trending up. He
Yep.
was looking
And
good. He signed that nice long-term extension and then just went off a cliff, right?
I feel like we see that with players though.
Yeah.
And yes, it's something to be concerned about, but at the same time, like they'll more than likely bounce back and just kind of find themselves in that happy medium. I mean, look at Matthew Tkachuk. Last year was a quote unquote down year for him. And it was. It was.
Yeah.
He didn't have I don't even think he hit 20 goals, but his last 5 goals came within the last 5 games of the season, and it was when Johnny was on his line. But again, what do I know?
Yeah.
What do I know? Um, and it just players are gonna have
Yeah.
hard times, and because guess what? There's stuff that goes on off ice.
Mhm.
Rasmus Anderson became a dad.
Yeah, exactly.
He was probably really tired.
Yeah,
I can't
for
even
sure.
imagine. And,
Yeah.
like, I just think that people have this mindset that, "Oh, they're hockey players, they're supposed to be robots, like, nothing else can, like, impact them, they're just, like,
Mhm.
invincible." It's like, no. If they get a bad
Yeah.
night's sleep, they're probably gonna play like crap.
Yeah, and that's why, players have bounce back years and,
Mhm.
you know, like for Rasmus Anderson, he was a 23-year-old defenseman that played top 4 minutes for the first time in his career. That's a huge step.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. And like you said, he became a dad. And this and that, right? So that's
Yeah.
why you can't just look at numbers and you can't just look at, what's happening off the ice, eye test, etc., right? You got to
Yeah.
combine them all into a nice,
Exactly.
yeah.
And just tie it up with a little bow and say, this was this year. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again, especially if it's negative, because I feel like
Exactly.
people will just harp on that and let that get to them. But best of luck to everyone. But speaking of players who did have a good year, you're wearing his wonderful artwork right now.
I am.
For those who aren't watching on YouTube, it is Mangiapane's beautiful Flaming Sea masterpiece.
So nice.
My shirt's in the mail. Podcast mom Lindsay grabbed one
Love
for
it.
me and shipped it,
Love it.
so I didn't have to pay like more for the shipping than the shirt.
Awesome.
So last year, he, well, before the pause in 2019, 2020, he was trending upwards, if I remember correctly, because he was one of the first players that caught my eye when I started covering the team, which was right
Yeah.
around the time of the pause. And I was like, this kid, like, he's only 22, 23. What do you mean? And I was so impressed. And then he came back last year and really proved himself as
Mm-hmm.
a middle six guy,
Yeah.
especially on the Flames. I'm sorry, but like, you don't have much to work with last year. While you're
Yeah.
playing Brett Ritchie on the top line, I can't even go into it because I'm going to get so upset, and I don't want to do that because we're recording at like 10:30 my time, and I don't want to
Yeah.
wake up my neighbors. But my poor old lady neighbor, um, I just you have to utilize these players correctly. Otherwise, they're gonna be like, "Get me the hell out of here." Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I think that he will be utilized in a better way this season, or so I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Andrew Mangiapane is such a good hockey player.
So
Like,
good.
his numbers last year were tremendous.
Mhm.
92% WAR, which is super duper nice. I mean, like, almost the best in the league. Like, pretty good. And he when he was on the ice, the Flames outchanced opponents 728 to 595. So that's a like chances for percentage of 55%, which is very good. Expected goals of 58.56%, which is very good. High danger percent chance of 58.78, which is very good. So if you're getting the hint I'm saying, is Andrew Mangiapane is very good.
Something
And
about those number 88s with carbohydrates as their last
yeah,
name. There's something there. But
pasta.
yep.
Yeah.
I want to see them thrive together. But
Oh, well, David Pasternak to Calgary, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be okay
that
with
would
that.
be. I don't think
Yeah.
it ever happened, but
No.
no.
I definitely wouldn't complain about that at all.
No, oh my god, no. I would be so excited.
Yeah.
But
But Andrew Mangiapane, the best description I've ever gotten of him is from Calgary Flames data analyst. You know him as on Twitter as Flash_33 or Shane, and he just described Mangiapane as as a bee, right? He's on the ice, he's in your face,
mhm.
he's everywhere. he's gonna piss you off. He's gonna score. He's our little bee, and I love him.
Yeah, he's
And
can't complain. He's
no,
great. I'm so
no,
happy for him. I'm so happy to like have him on the Flames, and then, when
yeah,
you're probably listening to this, you're probably about 36 hours away from puck drop, so that's closer than we are right now.
yep,
But we're gonna see him very soon.
very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about underdogs earlier. Andrew Mangiapane is the ideal example of an underdog. Was never drafted into the Ontario Hockey League, worked his way up there. Drafted in the sixth round of the NHL draft. You know,
Yeah,
people didn't expect him to be a top 6 forward. He worked his way up. Now he's killing it. So prayers for a 6 to 8 year contract extension, please, and thank you.
Do you think he ever hits 100 points in a season?
Mangiapane?
Yeah.
If he's playing with McDavid and Pasternak, maybe.
Okay, that's fair.
He's
Not
not
as the Flames.
he's not gonna, he's not gonna score you 50 goals.
Yeah.
The most important thing about Mangiapane is his defensive impact.
Yeah.
Like,
He's going to
just
beat someone out for the Selke someday. I have a strong
this season.
This
I'm calling it.
season. I would be okay if he robbed Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah.
It'd be okay.
Yeah, like he should have gotten Selke votes last year and he
Mhm.
got none. So that better change or I'm gonna start talking to these media members because they aren't seeing.
It's oh my god, what's the meme? It's like this is anti-Italian discrimination or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's that. It's fine. It's just we just got to get his name out there more, and I think that he'll do that for himself this year. Is there anything else you want to add before we move on?
Just that Andrew Mangiapane is in the 96th percentile for defensive impact, which is quite good. And
That's unreal.
do you want me to go into our favorite defenseman?
Yeah, actually, let's do that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when the Flames brought in Nikita Zadorov on defense, they also brought in Eric Goodbranson. And Eric Goodbranson is not a very good hockey player.
What is it? $2.5 million?
Just a shade under 2, like 1 point.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I mean, anything over 750K is an overpay, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But by any metric you look at, and I mean any metric, he is not a good defenseman. In preseason, I mean, I was in person at that first preseason game in Edmonton, and that was the worst performance I think I've ever seen. I was laughing. There was this booing, like, it was
Oh
insane.
my god.
And, I mean, my eye test matched up perfectly with metrics because in the 5 preseason games he played, the Calgary Flames were outchanced 68-51, which is not good. His expected goals was 35%, which is super low. His high danger chance for was 33%, which is basically means the Flames gave up 10 high danger chances and only had 5 when he was on the ice in preseason. So
Nice.
and his WAR percentage was 6%. Yeah. So
Oh boy.
like
Oh, man.
I still don't understand this signing. The one thing he has going for him is that he's 6'5", 220 or whatever he is.
That's
He's a
why he was signed. That's it.
and he shoots right.
Yeah. Like that's all Daryl Sutter wants. So
Yeah, but I just don't understand because Jason Demers, who is still a free agent, was
mhm.
a better defenseman, but a better metrics, etc., 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 and he can't even get a contract. Well, I don't want to speculate, but maybe it's personal choice. I don't know what's going on, but from what I know, he doesn't have a contract with an NHL team
Yeah.
at the moment, and Eric Goodbranson got $2 million. So
I wish I was that bad at my job and
Like,
got paid that kind of money.
I think the worst part for me is that the Flames re-signed Michael Stone, which was a good move. He was good under Daryl Sutter, which is weird for me to say because I was on team get Michael Stone out of town for like 3 years, and they kept bringing him back, and then he finally had a good season and proved me wrong, so I wanted him
Yeah.
back, and they brought him back for $750K, right, and it's awesome, and then they're like, "You know what, James? I'm gonna ruin your day," and then Eric Goodbranson for $2 million, which,
It's so disappointing.
like, how do you pay him $2 million? Were you bidding with another team? Like, was another team wanting Eric Goodbranson?
For how much? Like,
Like
to the point where you're like, "Okay, I'll give you just under $2 million." Like,
like,
what? Who in their right mind? Who could it have been?
yeah, like, I don't understand that signing. I big, like, that's the only
Yeah,
thing I
like
can say about it.
that's his thing, and like that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
He's a big boy. That's it.
he's yeah. Yeah, and he had a awful preseason, which was expected. But, there's always those first couple games where, you give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe with a new team. But Eric Branson is on his 5th or 6th team in the past 3 years. Like, he
He's getting passed around like a cheese platter at a party.
like, at some point, you just have to figure out that this player just isn't very good.
Right.
And, props to him. He's made probably close to $50 million playing hockey. Like, I'm sure he's fine with me trash talking him because he can't hear
Yeah.
me because his ears are plugged with all that money. So, right? Like,
Oh my god.
props to
Yeah.
him for
Like, just how? I
yeah,
don't understand because like if you want to get better, you have to pay defensemen, but you need to pay good defensemen.
yeah,
You can't just like be like, okay, here's like $2 million to
yeah,
a bum. You're
yeah.
not gonna have any success there. And I think they finally realized with the bottom six the bottom six that like you can't just pay some guy $700,000 to come in here
Oh,
and think you're gonna win
mhm,
because that's not the right formula.
yeah,
Um, I mean, you have I don't know. I just this team sometimes like the more I think about it, the more I think my brain is gonna short circuit, and they haven't even played a regular
yeah.
season game.
I mean, I'll try and help you feel better about this team because there are some positives.
There are.
Brad Richardson, Trevor Lewis, Nikita Zadorov, Blake Coleman, like all these signings that are brought in,
Mhm.
like Trevor Lewis, Brad Richardson, Nikita Zadorov, they put up no offense.
No,
But by some defensive metrics, they're okay.
they're alright.
So what I like to say is they're net zero. They're not gonna if you're gonna play them on a fourth line, they're not gonna score you a goal, but they're most likely not gonna allow a goal against. So as long as our top six, and I like our top six,
Mhm.
as long as that top six can score, the Flames have a chance at the playoffs. Because if they get off early and Johnny Gaudreau goes over to Lindholm and goes to Tkachuk and they pot 2 quick goals early, they should theoretically, with the defensive talent they have on this team, and I don't mean defensive like defensemen, I mean like
The
defensive
two-way
forward.
forwards.
Yeah, with the amount of those players they have on this
Mhm.
roster, they should be able to hold a lead and grind any team down in the league. And I guess another positive is other teams are gonna hate to play the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
Calgary Flames are gonna be in your face. They're gonna hit you. They're gonna shut you down. They're like a mini way less New York Islanders, to put it nice. Like, I don't
They're
want to
like
compare
the
them.
mini mites team, like the
Yeah,
baby versions.
like I don't want to compare them to the New York Islanders because they're a very good team and they have playoff success. So,
Yeah,
but it's not the Calgary
can't
Flames,
relate.
but they are like the New York Islanders if you took a light version times like 50. So
Yeah, they're just
they
take away
have
the playoff success and
yeah,
you
they
you're there.
they have like they're built as a team that has an identity, and that's been a
Mhm.
problem with the Flames for as long as I've been a fan of them, really.
Yeah.
Since Iggy left, like they've just been kind of this mediocre. We have a couple guys that score, we have a couple bad players,
Yeah.
they've just been mediocre in the middle. Now they're a mediocre team in the middle that plays hard and is good defensively, so at least there's an identity
Yeah,
there.
there's something there's definitely more than there was 2 years ago. Um,
Mhm.
I just can't believe that they've been through 2 coaches
Yeah.
in 3 years. That's talent. That's that is truly talent.
Yeah. I think if you go even further back, I think it's 5 coaches in 6 seasons, like
Yeah. Oh my god.
oh,
Like, are the coaches bad or is it just the team? Like, I
yeah,
genuinely don't know.
like, there's so many questions, and I mean, for some of them, it was good for them to leave. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna name that person's name, but we all know that story. And others, it didn't work. Glenn Gulletson was not an NHL coach,
No.
and I wanted to fricking punch that guy in the face because he made me so angry. And the guy that I won't name was actually a good coach, and the Flames had success under him, but he was a terrible person. And then, you bring in Jeff Ward, who, similar to Glenn Gulletson, was a good person,
He tried.
but was not an NHL caliber coach.
No.
And
Oh, we got old man Sutter off the farm.
now we got Dino Daryl, who,
Oh my god.
yeah, that's right. I'm bringing back that nickname.
I've never heard that before.
What? I
Yeah,
came up
no.
with I came up with that on Twitter. Everybody loved it, and then I kinda stopped. I was like, I'm gonna stop picking on Daryl Sutter here for like the summer. I'm gonna just we'll see how the games go. But
Huh.
Daryl Sutter teams, I'll give the guy credit. They're usually good possession numbers, chances, like if he's an analytics guy, which I know he's not, but if he looks at any analytics, he has had success.
Mhm.
His teams have statistically been good teams. So, and last season, in those last 10 games or so, the Flames were a very good team. Part of that is because we played the Vancouver Canucks like 5 times who
Who were,
all
like,
had COVID.
COVID, like, we're yeah, it's
So,
fine.
you have to take it with a grain of salt, but the team under Daryl Sutter was good, and he
Yeah.
gives them an identity. So, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Daryl Sutter, it's a coach that is going to be here for this year and next,
Mhm.
who is going to instill some form of identity into this team and already has. And it's like if I was in charge of this team, I love watching teams that are all offense, right? Like
Mhm. Of
Tampa
course.
Bay's. Like I want exciting hockey. The Flames aren't going to be an exciting hockey team, but we'll see if them not being exciting works for them.
Maybe, I hope so, because, I mean, I don't want them to put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Um, I unfortunately have work to do after games, that involve the games, so me falling asleep during my job would just not be good.
Yeah.
But coming up next, we will wrap up the show with our winners and losers of the week. But first, let me talk to you about sports betting. I'm not a betting person because my predictions, I had the Flames coming in second last season in the North Division. So you can see why I don't put, because I would have been like, here's all my money, and then I'd be
Yeah.
broke. But BetOnline AG just revamped their website, so they have all these amazing bets, props, updates, Vegas arcade games available for you, and you can earn a 50% welcome bonus when you sign up today and use promo code Locked On, and that's promo code Locked On for a 50% welcome bonus. So it has
Nice.
been a little bit of time since I've had a guest on for a Friday show where we've done winners and losers of the week. So welcome.
Nice.
I explained to you before the show that basically my old co-host Sean, who worked for TSN, was like, I'm ripping this from, I think it was Leafs lunch or something, I don't know, but they would do winners and losers of the weekend on Monday. So we just stole it and said we're going to do it on Friday. So
Yeah.
Sean, I don't know if you listen to this podcast, but hi. Thanks for thanks for helping. Do you want to start with winners or losers?
It's up to you. I can do whatever.
You know, we sat in some negativity for a while. So why don't
Sure.
we stew in it some more? Who's your loser of the week?
I'm just gonna pull up the score from one game that's being played today.
Oh no.
And the Arizona Coyotes did some good things. They're trending towards a rebuild, but they are a massive loser tonight as they lost 8-2 to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
8-2.
More specifically, Carter Hutton is a massive loser because he allowed 8 goals on 26 shots. So
That's
I'm just
bad.
going to say, just because I watched that game a bit today, the loser is the Arizona Coyotes. And I feel for those fans because it's going to be a long season with Carter Hutton and unnamed goaltender that I have no idea in net.
Yeah. I like their idea of stashing all those draft picks. I think that that's
Yeah.
genius. Just depending on how they use them, I guess.
Yeah. Like it's great for
Yeah.
the Arizona Coyotes to rebuild. It's fantastic. I wish the Flames did that 2 years ago,
When they really should have done it.
but it'll be great in 4 years. But
Yeah.
for right now, the Arizona Coyotes are losers.
My loser of the week is most definitely Urban Meyer, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, just because that he's lost the room, and I know that the whole situation where in Ohio was 2 weeks ago, but I just feel like every time I log on, there's always something about him. And they haven't won a game. So you're really the loser in my eyes. As for my winner, I don't know. I kind of want to give it to like my pillow because like give me a solid nap today that I really needed. But I'm gonna go Brady Tkachuk because he got a
Ooh,
massive payday today.
yeah.
Um, kind of a bit of an overpayment, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But listen, you gotta cash those checks.
Yeah.
And hopefully they clear. I mean, it's the Ottawa Senators, so I don't know what their money situation actually looks like. But good luck to Brad Treliving when negotiating with Matthew, and mainly Keith. I'm assuming that this is going to be a Keith-driven decision.
Yeah.
But enjoy $57 million. My God.
Yeah. Yeah, and Brady's another example of someone that analytics are down on him quite a
Mhm.
bit because he's a unicorn in the league, same as Matthew Tkachuk. He's a player that does a lot of things, but
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk has never scored more than 50 points in a season. And now he's making $8.2 million, which is insane. So yeah, I'm definitely not excited for Matthew Tkachuk contract negotiations next summer. That's gonna
Right.
be awful.
With a $9 million qualifying offer, which I know they don't have to extend, but the Tkachuks don't seem like the people who are going to take team-friendly deals.
No.
And listen, I'm all about securing the bag. You
Yeah.
make your money, but if you, I don't know. I don't, that's a whole other discussion. But best of luck to everybody involved in that negotiation, because I'm just not, I want nothing to do with that from the
No.
front office.
No. And my winner for the week is the Seattle Kraken, because as we are recording this, I just watched the Seattle Kraken win their first NHL game in
Ooh.
history. They beat the Nashville Predators 4-3. So shout out to the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, shout
And
out to them. They're pretty
they
cool.
have beautiful jerseys. They've played 2 games already and I love them. And this is a Flames podcast, but go Kraken.
Yeah, honestly, this is a try to find positivity where you can podcast. So, even though the Kraken are in our division, it's fine. I thought it was so cool, the little pregame theatrics that Vegas did.
That was super cool.
I hated it for the playoffs back in 2018 when they played the Capitals and everything was a production.
Mhm.
But just to give, like, that kind of welcome
Yeah.
to, like, your first game, especially as, like, the second latest expansion team technically now. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool, and props to everybody who, number one, pitches those and then executes them, because I would press the wrong button and all the power would go out. So I hope you're all getting paid well enough, because you do some hard work.
For sure.
So that's all I have for today. Do you want to plug your social media and where we can find your podcast?
Sure. Yeah. So my social media is there on the screen at James Johnson YYC. You can find me on Twitter posting way too many memes for anybody's liking, way too many Flames related tweets.
The
I'm all
Elliot
over the
Friedman
place.
ones are great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Those.
I love Elliot. And you can find my podcast at the Barn Burner Hockey Podcast on Apple, Spotify, this or that. Me and my co-host Audie, who we both appeared on the show about, I want to say a month ago, month
Yeah.
and a half. And yeah, we're having a good time. We have a couple player interviews with Yusuf Alamaki, Matthew Phillips, and
Got the good stuff there.
we're having a good time. So you check us out over there. And for any Flames fans, there's actually a brand new call-in show that we're going to be hosting
Yes.
starting on Saturday, and that'll be called the Afterburn Call-in Show. So if you want to,
Such a cool name. I like that.
I wish I could take credit but that was all Audie. I wish
Of
I
course.
could take credit and say that was my idea, but it wasn't. But yeah, you can, if you're mad at the Flames or happy or depressed or angry or anything,
Whatever you're feeling.
come on post game, chat with me and Audie. Maybe we'll have some guests on from time to time. Maybe we'll have Jess on, who knows.
That would be
But
fun.
yeah, it'll
So
be fun. Our
yeah.
first show will be on Saturday, so that'll be tomorrow when you
Yeah.
guys are listening to this. So come chat and say hello to me and Audie on Saturday. It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you so much for coming on. You were very flexible, considering I passed out in a coma for like 2 hours. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to eat. So thank you again for coming on. And I'm sure, you'll be back on throughout the season, and we can just throw a fit over analytics and the defenseman.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on again, Jess, and
Always.
anytime. I love talking hockey, so
Oh, yes. And make sure that you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, and of course our YouTube channel, and catch you next time.